Oxford Lagoon Bird Sanctuary stipulated in U.S. House Document 389 and signed into law by President Dwight D. Eisenhower with U.S. Public Law 780 under the Rivers and Harbors Act, is now the Oxford Basin. This Thursday, July 7, 2016, as Master of Ceremonies and Supervisor Don Knabe celebrated a denuded Oxford Basin, many of us stood by observing the absence of birds, butterflies, and other wildlife. Some folks saw one lonely heron. Back in December 2014, during the rainy season, LA County chainsawed old-growth Myoporum trees. The destruction included several flowering eucalyptus trees being used by monarch butterflies as a wintering home, and a landmark eucalyptus tree used by osprey, a fishing hawk, as a high perch. Despite the public protest to protect the monarch wintering site and the high natural perch of the osprey, and despite formal requests made by U.S. Fish and Wildlife, as well as the Coastal Commission, to leave the trees being used by the osprey and monarchs, the county flexed its muscles and destroyed the sites.
See that active fluttering? I think it might have to do with the fog and the sudden dropping of temperature.
Like 20 of them right there.
Yeah, but a couple of them were just a moment ago doing a whole bunch of, after they landed, they were still beating their wings a whole bunch. And I believe there's been a sudden drop of temperature when the fog bank came in, you know, about a half hour ago. They fold their wings, they become kind of invisible, like the same color as the dead leaves.
Oh.
My name is Armighty May. I'm a vegan veterinarian and environmental activist, as well as an animal activist, and I'm here today to protest the grand reopening of Oxford Basin. Formerly, the Oxford Basin was a protected bird refuge that was supposed to be federally protected. It was 10 acres where birds such as the osprey, which is a bird of special concern, as well as monarch butterflies, could seek refuge in the wonderful trees, including the eucalyptus that provided crucial habitats. And all of these trees were torn down. 650 trees that were mature, healthy trees were torn down about a year and a half ago in December of 2014. And that was just in order to convert this whole area, which is supposed to be a federally protected bird refuge, into essentially a public recreation park. And it's a darn shame that that has been done, because now we don't even see a single bird here. There used to be egrets, all kinds of special animals that are in decline. And in fact, the monarch butterflies are 90% down in numbers. And this was one of the few overwintering sites in all of Los Angeles County that was still available for these monarchs. And now the eucalyptus trees are gone. Now we see algae growing in this lagoon. So why is there algae growing if they've supposedly improved the water flow? So I think we need to take a stand against overdevelopment, especially when it's portrayed as conservation when it's actually quite the opposite. It's to say no to these development projects and preserve nature instead of destroying it.
I want to welcome everyone, thank everyone for attending this morning, and I'm going to ask the color guard from Cub Scout Pack 18 to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. First of all, we have members of our Los Angeles Regional Water Quality Control Board. We also have Debbie Diner-Harris, District Director for LA City Councilman Mike Bonin. Lumian, our Chair of the Smallcraft Harbor Commission. Good morning. We also have Don Mantero, President of Marina City Club Homeowners Association. Last year, as you know, we celebrated the 50th anniversary of Marina Del Rey. residents, businesses, and merchants. And the Oxford Basin is truly a symbol of that half century of growth and renewal. Taking what was once a largely unappreciated plot of land and transforming it into something colorful, vibrant, and alive. And what we have here today at the Oxford Basin is a park-wide amenity that not only increases the flood safety and water quality for the community, but it's a destination for everyone to connect with nature and with each other.
With lots of algae.
I've long said that Marina Del Rey is the crown jewel of Los Angeles County. And if you haven't been to Marina Del Rey after the sun goes down, the lights along this path make this place look absolutely spectacular.
This is a map of planned overdevelopment. This Thursday, July 7th, 2016, as Master of Ceremony and Supervisor Don Kanabe celebrated a denuded Oxford Basin, many of us stood by, observing the absence of birds, butterflies, and other wildlife. Some folks saw one lonely heron. Many people chatted about the sanitized park. Unfortunately, the green algae covered about 40% of the water, and later a white cloudy substance discharged into the basin.
Thank you, Gary. And now I'm going to ask Janice Aldua, our CEO of the Marina Del Rey Division Visitors Bureau, to join us. Can I come up here for a second?
Angela George. The public has a right to know if these renovated biological systems are working as promised. Millions of dollars of Prop 84 bonds were set aside to improve water quality, expand wildlife habitat, and prepare for major storm events at both Oxford and Malibu. Some of the same officials who altered the Malibu Lagoon have been part of the industrial-scale destruction of Oxford Lagoon Bird Sanctuary to make way for the Oxford Basin, as Supervisor Don Kanabe calls it. The outcome is still tenuous for both. Let's demand, as the public, a thorough before and after comparison of the cost and functionality of these projects. What can we learn from Oxford and Malibu that can be applied to the restoration of the Ballona Wetlands Ecological Reserve? A joint state and federal environmental analysis of Ballona is due out soon. How can we use what we've learned at Oxford and Malibu to create a better, more informed restoration process at Ballona?